Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. I'm looking forward to talking with Tim Shaffer. Tim, it's great to connect with you, CEO and co-founder of SearchTires.com, the world's first tire price comparison search engine, and you're changing the way that people buy tires for the better. So it's great. There's so many things as an entrepreneur and just a business person I want to chat with you about. First, as a business coach, I work with people around the globe who are successful in stock. I get them unstuck. And I always like to start my podcast asking you, Tim, where's a recent place you got stuck and how did you get unstuck?
Very good question, and great to be on, John. Well, we were stuck in the previous iteration of this particular niche that we're in right now and what we're trying to provide to the consumer. We launched this actually in a different iteration back in 2014 and had a little different vision on it. We didn't really rush it out, but we just didn't understand how the direct to consumer worked as well as we thought we did. Well, that is me actually. And put a product out there and we were trying to please the consumer and the retailer at the same time, two sides, and it failed. Basically it failed. And I use it just as, that word fail has a big impact. However, it's not really, when you're an entrepreneur, it's never really failing. It's just learning how not to do something. So that's what we did. We learned how not to do it. We built a couple other marketing companies, me and my partner, did very well, very successful at the top of our fields in that. And then we came back to this because tires is my industry that I've been in forever. It's near and dear to my heart. And I really think there's a way to do this. And this is the new iteration and it's actually crushing it. So lesson to be learned. Don't give up on what you think. Just find the right way to do it.
Well, I love what you're talking about for so many reasons, Tim, because there are no failures. There's just expensive seminars, right? And what I had an expensive seminar that cost me, $100,000 but it taught me how to say no, right? Because I didn't want to do the one thing initially, I'm talking 25 years ago. And so there's all of these different things. That's how I look at it. But to your point, you never know. Success is never a straight line. You never know where an idea will take you, how it will evolve, and where you will end up. You just got to think, community, keep on moving forward. You just got to keep on moving forward. I read a book recently and they talked about sharks only move forward. They don't move backwards. And so you just got to keep on going. Don't be a shark, but be like a shark, but move forward like a shark.
Right.
I want to tap into one thing though, that you talked about, which is, you niched, you tried, but in that, the through line was getting feedback to pivot and get into alignment of where you are. And so for people who are in the space of, adjusting through ideas right now to try to find that thing, what is one piece of advice that you would give them?
The piece of advice that's the most important to me, and it's one of my things that grow my skill set every day, and it's constantly getting feedback. And when I say that, don't get feedback from your friends and people that's going to agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's good to hear it. It's good, the affirmation, but you need to get it from people that'll actually give you an honest answer and say, hey, I like it. However, these few things need to be tweaked or adjusted. And you really need to get kind of a thick skin. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to hear a lot of, I don't like it, or it's not going to work. So right. I would just say, you got to be open to that. And I always say open instruction, just be open instruction and then take that feedback. And it's like I say, anybody can be a reporter and tell you everything's wrong, but the entrepreneurs are supposed to be the people that see all the issues, but they provide the solution. So
right. And I just want to add to that. And as an entrepreneur, you're going to meet people that when you tell them an idea, they're just wired to be the devil's advocate. But those are typically not entrepreneurs, right? They're people who are very corporate mindset or who work well within a structure. And not to say that their feedback is bad. There's pieces of it that are good. But somebody who plays the devil's advocate role can come in very strong and opinionated. And entrepreneurs are not black and white. They see things in gray. And so I think there's it's really, really important because you talk, I agree with you. Feedback is absolutely critical. And then, but knowing who the source is and what that means to your business to tighten it up, one little nuance at a time. So no, spot on. All right. I want to do a mini business course with you, right? Because you
Okay.
said something earlier that you said, I'm finally in my sweet spot, right? And I'm crushing it. And so,
Right.
um, three reasons, three ways, three pieces of advice, whatever three things you want to do to guide someone to turn their passion and into their niche or into their business. What's number one?
Wow. I have a few that I practice daily. However, I would say consistent practice is a big one. And what I mean by that is you just got to stay focused on your niche and continually to stay updated in that niche because you're supposed to be the expert in it. We already talked about the feedback part of it, and that's part of the updated. Learn actively. You need to learn actively. No matter what it is, I spend an hour a day just learning something, even if it's random. Um, I think it's a mindset to train your brain to be open to things and not have your feelings hurt by different things. Um, and always I'll throw a few in there. I know you said three, but curiosity and stay inspired. I mean, they were, if you're not curious about what you're doing and how you can make it better, and you're not inspired by what you do. I'm so passionate about what I do now. It's so nice being that way and just feeling that way about your company because that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm a business coach. I work with people all over the globe, from solopreneurs to Fortune companies, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I just launched a second company, which is a coaching platform only for people in their 20s, because I have a business partner for that business because they're lost. They don't know
Yep.
what to do next. They and they're not learning what they need to learn in school of the soft skills and really
Yep.
how to make it right, and to tap into their intrinsic soul and voice
Yeah.
to really make a difference. So
And
um,
and I'd like to add something on that. I think that you're exactly right with that coaching area right there because a lot of these people see all this online stuff where you can get rich and you don't have to work hard. And I know you talk to many entrepreneurs, you're a coach. There's no such thing as getting money
zero.
quick and not
There's
working
nothing.
hard. It's zero
Right.
chance you're gonna.
Right. Or is there a chance that if you take any vitamin, you'll like have a six
Right.
pack in a week, right? Or like all,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Let's touch on that, right? So let's kind of do a mini life course, right? And so, if you were to give your 18-year-old self three pieces of advice, what would it be, Tim? Number one.
I think the biggest thing that entrepreneurs have is that we're very creative and we see a bunch of opportunity out there. But the most important thing is finding your North Star. You need to find something like me. I'm passionate about automobiles and tires. So you find that North Star and you run in that niche and you don't change. You just stay in your lane because it's
Yeah,
so easy for entrepreneurs. They get so distracted and they see Elon Musk doing all this stuff. And hey, that's great.
right.
But for most entrepreneurs, he had to win first before he was able to do the other stuff. And
Correct.
that's
Yes.
the whole thing. So find your North Star is one thing.
Number,
And
number two.
uh, depth over breadth, I would say you need to have some depth into yourself. You
Yeah.
know, it's about making change for good. You see a lot of surface level things, but you got to have stuff that really is going to impact people. It's that's one of the biggest things that I see is that that's just doing that. And then
Number three.
number three is stay organized, man. I mean, everybody says it. It's so hard when you're an entrepreneur. You're scatterbrained. Most of us, you know how we think. We look at things and we're like, man, there's an opportunity, and you just have to pull yourself back. I mean, organization. I have a lot of organization tools, and I have a lot of ways I do things. But it's easy to say it. It's not as easy to do it. But it's like I have the saying, and it's not the kind of saying, but it's true. I read it in a book. Processes work and people fail. Hey, just set yourself up on some processes and do that. Stay organized.
Yeah, it's great. Good. Good. You're a wealth of knowledge, and so as an entrepreneur today, I just want to go back to this. It's not a straight line, and I think the more you study and the more you learn new things every day, like you talked about, I'm the same way. It really raises your vibration and your frequency and changes perspective in a major way. There's a great TED talk by Jeff Hoffman, CEO Priceline, The Power of Wonder. I don't know if you ever watched it, but
Yeah.
it's brilliant. And he talks about info sponging, spending 15 minutes a day studying on everything that isn't your industry so you can understand the ripple effect it has in your industry, and always having wonder, right? Always having wonder in your business.
Yep.
And so when you look at the power of learning, right? What does learning every day do to your next day?
Part of it is inspirational. I mean, the big thing for me is I take time out to besides personally meditating and learning. And I think it's very good. Like we spoke about before, is like multiple resources. You don't want to hear from one side or the other side or the middle side. You want to put all of them together, because even if it's something that's not in my niche, it's a new way of doing something. And when anyone finds a new way of doing something, it's exciting to me. I'm excited for them, and I'm excited to learn, how did they come up with that? I mean, these are things we need to know as entrepreneurs. It's always about self-improvement, learning. I mean, you have to be a rabid learner to be an entrepreneur. If you want to be successful, you have to learn, because our field changes by the minute. So it's important to be open to that. And you got to take constructive criticism. You can't take it. You can't have like feelings like that. You just got to take it and say, hey, he has a point. He's saying it. So obviously I'm not conveying my message properly, or something's not right about that. So how do I fix that? That's what you need to look at, instead of saying, oh, he's wrong. So I went into a meeting like that once with a group of VCs. I mean, there was like 15 of them in the room, and they told me something. I'm like, no, that's not right. They're like, they shut down immediately. They're not listening to you after you tell them they're not right. So I was young then, so I was able to rebound.
They'll probably do it today. How old are you now?
I'm 56 years old. 56.
All right, so I'm going to be 52 this year, right? I said to my wife, I'm going back where I was in my 20s, a little bit bolder. You kind of go, sometimes you lose the boldness. And now I'm just, I find myself bolder the older I get. And talk about meditation a little bit. I meditate every day. I've been doing it for 30 years almost. Talk about the power of meditation.
Well, I'm going to share this. I started meditation 4 years ago. I've always been hyperactive. Hard for me to harness a lot of my energy, and meditation has been life-changing for me. I remember someone said you just have to start. You can't get anywhere unless you start. So the first time I went out to meditate, and there's a really nice park by me. It's like a 5-minute walk. I walk down there and I sit in the middle of this park, and I just try to do it. My first time I made it 5 minutes. It was like torture. And however, after doing this for 4 years, and again, it's a process for me, really. I do it for an hour twice a day.
Yeah.
And after you get through the first like 5 minutes, for me, it's really life-changing, because it's amazing when you can really open your brain and let things enter, like even birds tweeting and the wind blowing and rustling, all that stuff can bring up, like even smells can bring up nostalgic things or ideas that you have. And it's just a beautiful thing. And if you would have told me that before the 4 years ago, I'm like, yeah, you're out of your mind. There's no way I need to meditate about anything. So I wasn't open to it. But now that I do it, I would recommend it to anybody. I mean, because it really gets you in touch with your inner self.
Yeah. I was meditating this morning. I had such a powerful meditation this morning. And when you do it consistently, great things come that you don't expect. And the details really don't matter, but I got to something that was like inner child type stuff. And I just kind of was able to let it go and work through it. And I got out of the meditation. I felt like a different person. It was really, really powerful. And and unless you do it consistently, whether it's for 30 seconds or a minute. First time I meditated, a minute felt like 20 years. But yeah, I
I
mean,
get
it's
it.
yeah. And so it's yeah, it can be intense. That's great. This has been an outstanding talk. I've loved it. Let's do a quick speed round. What's a book that's had a big impact on you, Tim?
Pitch Anything, Warren Clough.
You know, it's so funny. Somebody just recommended that book to me. It's always so funny when I find a book I've never heard of, and then I get like multiple people tell me in like the span of 2 weeks or a week about the book. Well, tell me about the book a little bit.
It's about how everything's in a box. Everything's in a box. So you got to know what box you're dealing with and how to have the correct responses when you're in the box and how to get people to move through the boxes that you want them to move. It's segmented, but it's in a beautiful way. It's hard to explain it better than that, but Orrin does a beautiful job. I got to meet him a couple times. It's really great. I've read that book probably 6 times. I keep going back and reading that book. It's just something that, some books speak to people differently than it would impact other people. So, yeah.
I just downloaded it on Audible as you were talking about it. So I'm looking forward to it. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Don't worry about things you can't change.
That's a good one. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to start meditating for their first minute is
schedule it.
Amen. Time block. God, I realized we didn't even talk about your business just now. So tell everybody about the business, who your ideal clients are, and where they can connect with you.
Okay. Well, searchtires.com is a very simple site. There's no charge for consumers. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to be a matchmaker for the people that are shopping for tires today and connecting them to their brick and mortar. Now, I'm saying that because there's a lot of e-tailers that get online and there's a space for everybody. However, if you go online and it shows you your local area, you can click on that. You do the price comparisons, click on the retailer you want to go to. You can click to call, click for directions, or click to go to their website. But it shows you, and 99.9% of the time, it's the lowest price tire. You can click on that and go today and get them put on from a local brick and mortar place and in your community that supports the community, that hires your local people and does that kind of stuff. And why I'm passionate about it is because if there wasn't these brick and mortars that spend this money for shops and stuff like that, these e-tailers could not even exist because they ship tires to them to have them installed. And I just want the local brick and mortar, even if it's a big box, it doesn't matter. They're still operating in that community. And I want to be a locally owned and operated company in everybody's town to help them out, get them to the right people that they want to see, the professionals that know exactly how to guide them in the right directions. And I'm a tire matchmacher. That's all I am. Nothing more, nothing less.
I love it. Well, this was great. Tim, I enjoyed our talk. I want to extract a couple things, which is be open for feedback, the power of silence and meditation, doing what you're passionate and in alignment with, studying every single day, and being open to the path that there's no failures, but every failure and every great success may lead you to your ultimate thing that you're doing. So I appreciate everything that you shared today. Think community, you can reach Tim at searchtires.com, and you can reach me if you want to talk about coaching at johndwoskin.com. Tim, this was awesome. Stay on for a bit, but thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, John. I really appreciate it, and look forward to coming back and sharing more.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have you more. We'll have you back for some more.
Okay.